Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wizard's World. Today we're going to look at how we can use CloudFlare tunnels and the CloudFlare Zero Trust portal to configure two-factor authentication on a server web app workload. So there are a lot of citizen coders and developers out there that are building more than ever before. AI services like Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT have opened up a whole new world to a lot of people. However, this has also led to quite a few new apps being developed that may not have been designed with the best security in mind. They may be lacking encrypted databases, certificate checking, and even credentials on the database. And I see somewhat gleeful posts from, serious developers who are rejoicing when one of these fully AI developed applications is getting attacked online because of the weak security practices. So we're going to today look at how Cloudflare provides a really easy solution to securing a server or workload behind two-factor authentication. And so as we start to look at this, you can see here, this is the typical home lab scenario where there's a web server lives up underneath a natted firewall. Most home labs are not allowing or most home users rather are not allowing anything inbound from the internet unless they bring up a DMZ off the side of their firewall or something like that to protect the rest of their internal network. But with a Cloudflare tunnel and some of these zero trust principles, you just install the Cloudflare tunnel. So you do that by going to cloudflare.com and going to their zero trust portal. And you need to have a domain registered with Cloudflare. These are a couple of actions that need to take place prior to doing the two-factor authentication that we're looking at today. So you need to have a domain name for your home lab or a domain name registered, and you can get those for as little as like $5 a month through cheapdomains.net. $5 a year through cheapdomains.net, and you can then have that managed by Cloudflare. So you bring that domain into Cloudflare, and then you go to their Zero Trust portal, and you do the Cloudflare tunnel daemon or the Cloudflare daemon. And so you click on that under their network section, you build the tunnel, and it gives you the commands to run on whatever flavor of Linux or Mac or Windows that you're running on how to get that daemon installed. And the way that daemon works is it's kind of an agent or a daemon that lives on your box, and it establishes an encrypted tunnel between your box and Cloudflare. So it's outbound, starts outbound. That's why this could form in many corporate environments. It's kind of something that could occur. You could install this agent if your corporate policy allows you to do so, and it will go outbound on 443, which is normally allowed, to Cloudflare and establish this method that could be used to exfiltrate data in the corporate environment. So it's important that in our corporate environment we look at people cannot install that Cloudflare daemon, because we don't want to open up connections underneath corporate natting or underneath corporate firewalls. But in our environment, it's kind of a key thing to the way this works. So we install the Cloudflare daemon, and it stands up the tunnel between Cloudflare and the server where the daemon is installed on. And then you map in your domain assets in Cloudflare to tell it what should be accessed, like what is the internal IP address of this sketchy web server down here, and what is the host name that you want, the subdomain that you want, when people go to that particular subdomain, what pops up. And that's basically it's a web server, and so it's HTTP, and then the IP address, and anything that lives under your natting, as long as this guy can reach this guy, only this guy ever needs the agent. So you don't have to run around installing the agent on every single server. You just need it here, and as long as this guy can get here, the traffic will come in and it will get forwarded over to this, so that the web page loads up here on the user's computer or workstation. So without the two-factor, once you've done this guy right here is exposed to every single person on the internet. Anybody who's doing malicious things, anybody at all can come down and hit the face of your server or application. And so the easiest way, as some of this, as I said before, some of this stuff is built with AI. It's not built with security in mind. You definitely don't want people popping underneath your natted firewall to where they can start to lateral around in your network and do all kinds of crazy things. So the way to put a stop to that is to put a two-factor solution right here, and that is what we're going to do. So we're going to put the two. Normally she'll just connect right to that web server, but afterwards that first connection will take place between here and here on the green tunnel, and she'll be presented with the two-factor authentication. And so what we're going to do right now, we're going to look at the web asset down here. So you can see this is what I'm talking about. If you get right to this, you could start trying to figure out what the login is for this thing, and you could try to log onto this page and just put in nefarious data. It's a point of sale system, so you could do all kinds of weird things, and anybody would have access to that. And so we want to prevent that. So we're going to just go ahead and refresh, which should log us out. And there we got logged out. We're going to come to our CloudFlare portal. And first we're going to look at, as I said, you go to networks and then tunnels. And you can see here is my CloudFlare tunnel that's being maintained by the CloudFlare daemon, and it's currently healthy with an uptime of 2 days. And so you can create more tunnels or just continue to use the existing tunnel, but this is a step that already needs to be you need to have a healthy tunnel in order to continue at this point. So, and you also need to have your domain managed by CloudFlare, which is not in their Zero Trust portal. That's in the other, just the main CloudFlare portal. This is the Zero Trust portal that we're at right now. So I'm going to come into policies here, and I'm going to actually just delete the policy. And I'm going to come into applications here, and I'm going to just delete the application. And so now I've deleted the policy and the application, and I'm going to go ahead and do the policy first. Oh, the policy did not delete. Let me go ahead. Maybe it's because it was already in use by the application. Okay, so I'm going to add a policy now, and I'm going to name it Shearstein 2FA C, and it is allow. And you can set this duration here if you want to be really secure. It's just an immediate expiration. They have to two-factor every single time they log in. If you want to extend it, the maximum you can extend it out is a 1 month. And then so I'm going to use authentication method and one-time password, and then I'm going to add another include, and that will be emails. And then I'm going to set my email here. Oh, and let's just do that. And so you can just keep adding more and more emails here like that. And so I'm just going to leave it with one, and that'll be the only person that's really authorized to be able to access this sketchy web server. And so let's go ahead and save that. Just save that policy that we just created. Then we're going to come to applications. We're going to add an application. There's a lot of options in here. You can do a lot of amazing things, in here. So 2FAC, session duration 1 month, and select existing policy. There's the policy we had just created. So we've now selected that policy. And we're going to click next. Application domain, add public host name. So that will be Shearstein, and that will be Wizards World. And this is an implied wildcard. If you don't put anything there, that is a wildcard. So if you want to limit, you have to limit it. It's an implied wildcard. And so let's click next, save. And there we go. And so I'm going to get this, and I'm going to do a new private window so we have no cache, and I'm going to see if it worked. And here we go. Now, as I said before, this is from here to here, and it's just stopping right there. And then once you get the two-factor approval, then it goes ahead and it lets the full session form all the way down to the face of the web server. And so let's go ahead and go. Where'd that go? There it is. Okay, joshua.bears@gmail.com, and we'll get send me a code, and we should be able to get that. Let me get my Firefox window inbox, and 186136, and there we go. Now we are back at the sketchy web server, but we are now protected by two-factor authentication, and that's how Cloudflare tunnels with two-factor authentication can help secure some of your server workloads that might not be as secure as they need to be. You should go ahead and best practice. Let's encrypt those databases. Let's make sure those secrets are not published up into a GitHub repo or somewhere. And, let's clean things up and get them, working properly with security in mind, hopefully from the beginning. But, we are all learning. And so, if we need to beef up the security, this is a really good way to do that. So that's all for this episode of Wizard's World, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.